Hello YouTube and welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to be doing a settings guide for year 10 season 1 of Rainbow Six Siege. I've gotten a couple questions about my sensitivity. I put that in the description of every video, but you'll see it in this video too, just for obviously that's what part of the settings. So first of all, I turned my ping on and my minimal metrics on just because I like to see if I'm lagging. I can look at my ping and not have to go to the scoreboard or whatever, things like that. I can see how many frames I'm getting, if I'm getting frame drops, because if you play for too long, sometimes, at least the system that I'm on, I'm a Series S, will sometimes start to get frame drops and you'll just start playing on like 90 frames until you restart the game. Connectivity I got it on default. Stun effects I got it on dark glare versus white glare. I don't know if this is still true, but when it first came out, it was tested. When the dark glare first came out for flashbangs, it was tested that the dark glare clears up like a very small amount quicker than the white glare. So I run the dark glare. It's just, if it clears up quicker, it clears up quicker, you know. Cycle inside camera groups off. That's kind of personal preference. Diffuser pickup, I got it on both, so you can manually look at it and hold X or square or whatever your button is, and you can run over it. Visible throw trajectory, I have this on so that you can use it to line up nitros easier, line up nades easier, line up everything that you're throwing easier. Aces, stuff like that. Drone after prep I have on manual, because if you have it on automatic, there's a chance you can be on a drone and be running away from a defender, and as soon as the prep phase ends, you automatically get off your drone and the defender shoots it because you can't get back on quick enough. That you just don't want that to happen, especially when you get higher elo. Drones are very important. A drone can basically equal a kill if you use it correctly. You don't want to lose those. If you want, you can run semi-auto. I just personally run manual. Match replay on. Crossplay consoles doesn't really matter. I recommend, if you're on a console, not having it to off, because if you have it to off, then if you're on Xbox, you're only playing against Xboxes, and there's sometimes just not enough people for that. Yeah, HUD, I think most of it, well, it says custom, but most of it's default. I don't really know what I changed. One thing, if you want, you can turn off teammate outlines and stuff. I used to do that, but sometimes you'll just end up TKing your teammates, and it's just not worth it. For me, at least. You could always have it off. Some people play better that way. But yeah, I basically got them all on defaults there, I believe. Audio, English, subtitles on. This, I don't know, I always have subtitles on, just because you can hear the operators talking, and when they talk, you can kind of see which operator it is based off of what they say, and sometimes you can't hear it, things like that. I don't know. I always just play subtitles on in every game I play. Dynamic range, night mode, always play night mode. Night mode is for making loud sounds more quiet and quiet sounds louder. So like, this is going to make your footsteps louder. It's going to make gunshots quieter, things like that. It's just the best way to play. Everyone who's comp plays on night mode, basically. Master volume I have on 100 just so I can hear everything. In-game sound effects down to 85. Music 0, because I don't want to hear any kind of music. It's just not my vibe. That's not how I play. Menu sound effects 85. Voiceover 30. This is the voiceover in the game, obviously. Like when there's a voice saying like 15 seconds left, stuff like that. If I'm down to 15 seconds, I don't need to hear that dude loud in my ear talking. So I got it down to 30, just because if you got 15 seconds left, it's like execute time. You need to be moving. Or on defense, the attackers are going to be pushing you, so you just need to be able to hear, and you can't hear if you got a voice in your head, in your ear, saying 15 seconds, you know. Voiceover presets maximum. Oh, this is just so that you can hear operators talking and stuff like that. I set it on maximum so I can hear everything. HQ voiceover on. You can always just turn the announcer off. If you don't want to turn the volume down, you can always turn them off. You don't want to hear them at all. It's up to you. I keep them on just because it's what I'm used to. Stereo output. Voice chat 75. Sometimes people are just loud. and you can turn it down or up based on what you need, but I usually keep it at 75 so that I can still hear my teammates, but if I need to make a play, they aren't going to be yapping over what I'm saying or yapping over what I'm hearing, make it so I can't hear opponents around me, things like that. Display VSync off. Graphics, always prioritize performance. FOV 84, this is kind of personal preference, but it seems like the sweet spot for consoles are between 80 and 85. 90 is just a little bit too high for a controller, but if you feel good on 90, go ahead. But in general, it seems the sweet spot's between 80 and 85. I set mine at 84. 100 on this. Brightness 70. You want to up the brightness a little bit just so people can't rat in corners as much. But if you make it too bright, then looking out windows and stuff is going to be difficult. So 70 seems like the sweet spot for me. Vibration disabled. Advanced gadget deployment, because this makes it so if you're pulling out a gadget, you have to also hit the button to activate it. Not instead of just hold and release gadget button to deploy gadget. It's just clunky. There's gonna be situations where you're gonna want to hold your gadget in your hand for a little while. Like if you're a thermite, you gotta hold it in your hand for a little while, and then if you get swung, you gotta you gotta put it away. I don't know. Standard is just clunky. It's just clunky. So I run advanced. Same thing with drone deployment. I run advanced because if you run standard, you throw a drone, it automatically puts you on the drone. There's a chance that somebody's sitting around that corner that you're trying to drone, and you throw that drone, they swing you, you automatically go on drone, so you can't shoot back. You just lose. So throwing advanced makes it so you can have a little bit more freedom with plays and stuff. You can also throw a drone into a room that you know somebody's in and then swing after when they look at the drone or whatever else. It just lets you make more plays. Lets you throw a drone, get behind cover, then go on the drone. Just things like that. If you're playing it on standard, you're kind of selling. Leaning behavior alternate. I used to play on default for a long time. It helped with quick peeks a lot, but overall I think alternate's better, and it didn't take very long to learn. A controller layout, I got basic. It's just default. I play default. Yeah, I just play default. Look inversion disabled. If you play with look inversion, you're a freak. Controller rotation classic. This just allows for more micro adjustments when you're aiming in, because it's a slow progression, so you can hit your stick a little bit and it'll move a little bit. If it's updated, you hit the stick a little bit, it might move a lot because it's what it says. It's more consistent, so it's going to be spinning at 25 the entire time versus spinning at like 10 and then 12.5 and then 25 on the full tilt. So classic is just better for more precise aim. Vertical I play 30, horizontal I play 75. For these, again, it's personal preference, but if you want to be in the meta, vertical should be somewhere between 20 and 40. Horizontal should be somewhere between 60 and 100. This is just because horizontal sensitivity is always going to be higher, because if you're getting shot from behind, you want to be able to turn and flick on somebody, right? You can't do that if your horizontal sensitivity is super low. You don't need your vertical sensitivity to be very high either. You just need it to be high enough that you can control the recoil on your gun, and that's about it, right? Because you're not going to be really flicking up and down that much. It's mostly going to be side to side. I play 5 dead zones. You can basically get the dead zone as low as possible. Whatever you can put your dead zones at without having stick drift, that's what you want to put it at. I just play on 5s because I get stick drift quite often. I'm pretty rough on my controllers, I guess, but the lower the dead zone is, the less input lag there is when you hit a stick and it does whatever action you're trying to do. Looks a certain direction, moves a certain direction. So if you do have stick drift, you can always up the dead zone to 10 or whatever, but if you're going any higher than 10, then I just get a new controller at that point. There's really no point in inhibiting yourself that much. Trigger dead zones I have on 0 because those make it so that you have to push harder to shoot, and it's just dumb. There's no point. My ADS sensitivity is advanced. I run 19 and then 24. These I put at 25, but I don't play anything higher than a 2.5. I don't really run DMRs. And if I do, I'm running DMRs on a 2.5. I'm not using a 3x scope. I don't play Cali. Yeah, stuff like that. So don't really pay attention to these. These are what matter. 1924. Pretty good sweet spot for me. Aim, hold. If you play toggle aim, that's up to you, I guess, but it's kind of weird. Drone speed boost, hold. Again, this you could run toggle on this. It's totally up to you. It doesn't matter. Advanced controller options. These always have a chance to mess you up. So recommended to enable them, put everything to 0, and then disable them just to make sure that everything's completely not messing with your stuff, because there's a chance that even if you have it disabled, if some of these numbers are on, they can mess with some of your controls. So if you're playing on multiple different accounts and you notice something that's like your sense feels different, there's a chance that it's one of these things messing it up. That's called it. There's also just a sensitivity glitch across different accounts that could happen as well, but I would check this first. Accessibility, I run green. You don't really want to run the default red because there's certain maps like theme park or villa where red's just gonna blend in with the background, and it might mess up your aim when you're looking at somebody. So you kind of want to run a brighter color. I run green, but I'd also recommend turquoise, pink, white. Maybe not pink so much, but white. I see a lot of people play white, and some people play black, which is darker to me, so I don't know why you would, but plenty of people do that. As a newer player, I would recommend like a green or a turquoise or white or something like that, a brighter color. I always play in green. I put my opacity to 85 just so I can see through it a little bit. It's not completely covering up my screen. Screen shake intensity off. This makes it so you're sitting next to a thermite charge. Your screen's not shaking, and so you can't see anything, right? You are still able to take a gunfight, basically. If you have this on, it's gonna be putting you at a disadvantage. Motion blur. This is totally up to you, because it doesn't really do much. Basically, I turn it off because the biggest, I mean, obviously it says that it helps for motion sickness. I don't get motion sickness, but the biggest change for me is that when you get shot by an opponent or a teammate, I guess, and you have motion blur on, it kind of blurs the edges of your screen. And if you turn it off, it makes the edges of your screen red. That's the only difference. I kind of just prefer the red. I don't know why. That's just me. But a lot of people can't get used to it. So this is dark glare again. This is in general and accessibility. I don't know why. Team colors. I run blue, opponent red. Some people say that it's easier to see claymores if you make the opposing team blue, because it makes the claymore lines blue. That's up to you. I find it easier to see when they're red, but it also kind of depends on the map, right? Like if you're playing coastline and they're blue, you don't want it to be blue, right? It's harder to see because coastline's a very blue map on the outside. Off, 100, transparent. I don't know how much this stuff really matters, but yeah, that's it. Those are my sensitivity settings, my recoil settings. The big ones are probably changing your optic color, the stun effects, screen shake, and then obviously sense. Sense is huge. Putting things on advanced, making sure that all these are 0, and keeping these between 20 to 40 and 60 to 100. And yeah, that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a like and comment and subscribe for more, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.